Used car market starts year with momentum. After 2025, transactions hit 7.8 million. This is by Amy Turner on the 8th of January 2026. The used car market has entered 2026 on a positive footing after an estimated 7.8 million transactions in 2025, with retail sales on Auto Trader ending this year 2% ahead of 2024. There's been a lot gone on in 2025, a lot of underhanded tactics. Auto Trader said December capped the year with a 4% year-on-year uplift in sales volumes, supported by robust customer demand and stabilised pricing. Stabilised pricing on what? Not EVs. However, it warned the market remained constrained by supply, citing a shortfall of around 1.8 million 3 to 5 year old cars compared to 2019, which continued to intensify competition for stock. There's lots of EVs. The platform's data also points to a shift in the balance between franchised and independent retailers in the younger used market. That's because the franchise dealers are all cocked up with pre-registered EVs. At a recent media briefing, Auto Trader said it expects 2026 to be a genuine inflection point for the UK car market. Independent retailers grew their share of 1 to 5 year old cars, while franchise retailers' share fell from 70% in 2024 to 68%. As a result, franchise sales were broadly flat over the year, down 0.5%, while independent sales rose by around 4% on average. Independent dealers can now buy delivery mileage used EVs as and when they want, for nothing, for a song. Auto Trader said consumer interest remained exceptionally strong through the final quarter of 2025, with Q4 visits matching 2024's high point and an average 32 site visits every second. Across the full year, the platform recorded nearly 1 billion visits, 982 million. Fair enough. It's also pointed to improving sentiment following the post-budget lift in consumer confidence, with GfK consumer confidence up 2 points after the announcement and the major purchase index increasing by 5 points year on year. Auto Trader added that its own research suggests more than 8 in 10 car buyers are at least as confident about affording their next new car as they were last year. I wonder who they've interviewed. I wonder who their survey included. On the back of those indicators, Auto Trader is forecasting used car sales to rise by a further 3% in 2026, reaching approximately 8 million transactions. Now, I'm going to go through this, but the amount of brand new vehicles changing hands in one day, registered as a new, and then going to a used customer within a very, very short space of time, tells me that not only are they fudging statistics for new sales, because what they're doing, they're registering new cars and then selling them at basically used prices with delivery mileage on the next day or as soon as they can find a victim for it. Now, those used cars are actually new, because if they hadn't registered them, they would have to sell them new. I know that sounds silly, but it's a stupid thing for me to have to sit here and tell the likes of Auto Trader that the market is being manipulated in order to hit ZEV mandate targets. Cars are being discounted massively in order to get shut. The new car dealers are suffering, the franchise dealers are suffering, as you can see from these statistics, that the independent garages are doing better on used car sales because the new franchise dealers are tucked up with EVs. Mark Palmer, Head of Strategy and Insights at Auto Trader, said the used car market has shown remarkable stability and resilience throughout 2025. ICE vehicles have showed remarkable stability and resilience through 2025. EVs have been chaotic. Ending the year with sales volumes up and prices holding firm provides a very positive foundation for the months ahead. Diesels and petrols have held firm. EVs haven't. They're down 7% or something. While we recognise that many retailers face ongoing challenges with supply and margin pressure, the fundamental demand for car ownership remains the bedrock of this market. How you interpret statistics. I don't think this way is helpful to the motor trade. I really don't. The motor trade these days, all the old hands like me, are just fed up of it, sick of it, sick to death of it. They know what's going on. A lot of people I know, including myself, have got out. So they bring young lads in. These young lads, one day, they'll be fantastic. But just now, they've got no experience. So you tend to believe what people are telling you. And if people tell you the wrong stuff and you act on it, it can cost you a lot of money. It can cost you your job. If you don't do your targets, you will be out. So this is where experience matters. You need people to stay in an industry for it to get better and for them to pass on their knowledge. But all the people with proper knowledge, all the good guys, they're leaving. They're getting out. They've had enough. Which leaves the younger people to learn off people who aren't quite as knowledgeable. Demand for car ownership remains the bedrock of this market. The combination of strong demand and stable prices offer real opportunities for retailers who embrace a data-driven approach. Honestly, they don't. Because the data-driven approach is fatally flawed and it's being controlled by people who want you to take a data-driven approach so that EVs will sell, so that you'll do what they want you to do, so you can be controlled by data, not your brain. Data. Your brain tells you one thing, you look at the data and it tells you the other. Or you hear the data being given out by people with a different agenda to you. So you only hear the data from their side. I'm going to go through this after. From my point of view, let's see what we get. Those who pay close attention to the trends and insights will be well placed to capitalise, like the 7 brand new ID buzzes for sale as used, not registered yet, and at retail prices. That's data. Although that's brand new and a January delivery. It's been advertised since 17th of the 9th, 2025. And they've actually put it up. What a state. Looks like the EV boys are carrying on in 2026, cocking the job up for everybody. Auto Trader's retail price index showed average used car prices fell by just 0.2% over 2025. Average used car prices. Now, if there is good news for EVs, they are separated. EVs this, EVs that. Petrol, diesels, If there's no good news for EVs, and the good news is on the ICE side, they're lumped together. Let me show you this, because I know what's coming. Fell by just 0.2% over 2025. In December, the average used car price, £17,018, was flat year on year, following 4 consecutive months of growth, while month-on-month prices eased by 1%, in line with typical seasonal trends. Yeah, but the strongest price growth was concentrated in older vehicles, where Auto Trader said demand continues to outpace supply. Not very long ago, they were saying that the older vehicles were bombing. And I laughed at it, because I knew it wasn't true. I know if you get a good, clean, older vehicle, it flies off the forecourt. If something flies off the forecourt, you do not reduce it. You hold out your price, because if you don't want it, the next person will buy it. The dealer has got the power there to make money. So, as I say, I'll try and find the headline and cut it in. But at the time, I just thought it was pathetic. The average price of a 10 to 15-year-old car, £6,877, rose 8.5% year on year in December, marking the 9th consecutive period of strong increases for that age bracket. By contrast, nearly new models under 12 months old saw prices contract by 2.7% to £31,395. That's EVs being discounted. Fuel type trends also diverged. Petrol, £14,877, and diesel, £14,025. Values outperformed the wider market in December, rising 1.5% and 2.5% year on year respectively. Oh, hang on. While used electric models fell 7.4% year on year to 24,029. Despite price pressure in younger used EV stock, Auto Trader said 2025 was a hugely positive year for the used EV market. It wasn't. It was not. Demand rose 28% year on year on Auto Trader, accounting for more than 1 in 7 inquiries for used cars under 5 years old, while used EV sales increased by 52% across the year. Auto Trader data also suggests EVs are turning faster than internal combustion models. In December, the average used EV took 30 days to sell, 5 days quicker than both the overall market average and petrol cars, 35 days. 3 to 5 year old EVs, where Auto Trader said prices are stabilising and now level with petrol equivalents, sold in 25 days. Now what they're saying there is EVs have dropped so much that even though they cost a heck of a lot more than the petrol equivalent, brand new, they are now level. They have lost so much more than petrols. Yes, they're becoming good value. Yes, the 30-day, that is so important. If you take a vehicle in, if you take an EV in that's depreciating every single month and you have it for 2 months, you're going to lose money. But the 2 months doesn't necessarily mean 2 months. It means 2 price drops, which is usually 31 days. Okay, so you get one price now, and then, technically, they're dropping daily. With Cap Live now, you see the prices daily. So it doesn't matter as much as when you used to get a new glasses guide out. However, dealers tend to put the vehicles down weekly, perhaps. They check them weekly, or perhaps even monthly. That's when you notice. If you only check your vehicle stock monthly, price on price, you go from a little incremental drop, perhaps daily. I used to work for a guy who drove me insane. He was probably half my age, had come into the car job by accident, and he used to check the prices daily. And guess what? I learnt a good lesson. I thought I knew more than him, and as I say, one day he said to me, "You look at me like you want to kill me." And I said, "What's your point?" Because honestly, I did want to kill him. And I once went upstairs to speak to him, and he was talking to one of the other directors. And the other director said, "I can't tell him to do that. He'll just tell me to fuck off." But 2 lads Unfortunately, I left, and 12 months later, they ceased trading. We seemed to be doing all right while I was there, but they ceased trading 12 months later. However, he used to check the prices every single day, and sometimes he'd put them down by £2, £3, £5. And guess what? It made a difference. You had no inquiries on a vehicle whatsoever, and he'd just keep chipping away at it, and then all of a sudden the phone would start ringing because of the price. Nobody wanted it when it was £5 dearer. You reduce it by £5 and the phone starts ringing, and then you have 3 customers on it, and you think, why didn't it sell? That's pricing. That's how crucial pricing is. But it's not the data, it's not Auto Trader's data that's crucial, it's not their price banners that's crucial, and it's not their prices that they give to you that's crucial. It's not the ones that they tell you, you should be selling it at £1,500 more. Now what it is you being cheaper than the next person and being higher up in the search. That's what it is. That's the data. I agree with data is very important, but it's not the data that these people are selling you. It's the data that you can pick up using experience, your own brain, your own eyes, and one of the most important additions just recently is AT Price Tracker, because you can also look at other people's stock and see how long they've had it and how many reductions they've made. Auto Trader Price Tracker, what they should do, they should withdraw it and sell it to dealers. Don't withdraw mine, because I can't do without it. But that's what you're giving it away free now. It's the best thing ever. It's the absolute best thing ever. The amount that we pay cap a year, it's probably about £2,000 now, I would imagine. Throw it away. The amount we pay Auto Trader for their prices, throw them away. Auto Trader Price Tracker. Thank you so much. I genuinely mean this. And if you're in the job and you haven't got Auto Trader Price Tracker, then you're no good at your job. No good whatsoever. You don't know what's going on. With petrol equivalents sold in 25 days, Palmer added, we're seeing a maturing EV segment and a consumer base that remains highly engaged, attracted by a brilliant ownership experience. No, which includes annual savings of up to £1,500 in ownership costs. Now, I couldn't understand why he'd included this bit in his blurb. Why? Why has he included this bit about EVs? A brilliant ownership. No, it's not. It's not a brilliant ownership experience for a lot of people, because they're getting rid of them when they've had them a couple of weeks. So you can't say that. And as the biggest name in the motor trade, you cannot be influencing people like this. It is not fair. You are calling dealers onto the rocks with statements like this, which includes annual savings of up to £1,500 in ownership costs. Now, I particularly take exception at this. And in all fairness, I contacted him on LinkedIn and he replied to me.
Hi there, could you please answer my question? Also, can you show me your study that says UK motorists can save £1,500 if they buy a used EV, and how you arrived at that conclusion when clearly, as evidenced on your own website, used EVs are hemorrhaging their residual values on an almost daily basis. Thanks in advance, Barrie, Crampton. PS, if you want to know why used EV sales time is coming down, you might want to search this hashtag in Twitter. Hashtag EV mythinformation, or cut and paste this into your search. The £1,500 saving is a UK government Department for Transport figure. It calculates savings on fuel using the average price of petrol, average mileage driven, and the average price of domestic charging. Nearly 9 in 10 EV owners charge at home. So this is a common experience, and usually the top answer they give us when asked what they like about owning an electric car. Hope these help, and thanks as ever. Smiley face. Hi there, could you please answer my question? Also, can you show me your study that says UK motorists can save £1,500 if they buy a used EV, and how you arrived at that conclusion when clearly, as evidenced on your own website, used EVs are hemorrhaging their residual values on an almost daily basis. Thanks in advance, Barrie, Crampton. PS, if you want to know why used EV sales time is coming down, you might want to search this hashtag in Twitter. Hashtag EV mythinformation, or cut and paste this into your search. Again, could you explain how a used Kia Niro is the fastest selling used vehicle when there are in fact delivery mileage examples registered in 2002 that are still for sale on Autotrader? What gives? Hi Barrie, this is based on the median number of days it takes for the vehicle to sell using data from both franchise and independent retailers. Oh, well, great. How many examples of a model sales is the minimum? Included in our list of fastest selling cars are those where there were 150 or more sales of the model in the month. Some of those in the list are in the high hundreds or even thousands, others closer to the 150 bar. This helps us include the spread in market and as many different models, ages as possible without having the list skewed by small sample sizes. The £1,500 saving is a UK Government Department for Transport figure. It calculates savings on fuel using the average price of petrol, average mileage driven and the average price of domestic charging. Nearly 9 in 10 EV owners charge at home. So this is a common experience and usually the top answer they give us when asked what they like about owning an electric car. Hope these help and thanks as ever. Smiley face. My answer. So the fastest seller could also be the slowest seller, as the delivery mileage 2022 Kia Niros on your website would suggest. Could I also ask you why you felt the need to include in your insight that EV owners can save £1,500 on fuel when clearly that is negated by the 7.4% depreciation on EVs, whereas your information shows that petrol and diesel cars have gone up? And why you mention the brilliant owner experience of EV owners. Do ICE owners not have a brilliant owner experience, especially as they haven't lost as much as the people who bought EVs? What about the leasing companies that have lost a fortune on EVs? They don't even have to put fuel in them, and they've lost money. What about your other report that shows 8 out of the top 10 fastest depreciating vehicles are BEVs this month? What about EVs only accounting for 4% of used car sales? Don't you think you are discriminating against 96% of your customers? I am so disappointed in Autotrader. To be fair, I only sent him that today and I've not had a reply yet.
Where does the £1,500 in ownership costs savings come from? Because if Mark looked at Autotrader and the amount that EVs drop in a year, and that he's also just said, we'll just go back to it. Petrols went up 1.5%, diesels went up 2.5% year on year respectively, while used electric models fell 7.4% year on year to £24,029. How can a rapidly depreciating asset provide a brilliant ownership experience compared to one that's going up? I'm sorry, but I just don't believe it. And I don't think that a representative of Autotrader should be saying this. With research behaviour remaining strong throughout December, we expect a significant volume of those researchers to convert into buyers in January, as is typical for the start of a new year. So I know I've chipped in a bit during that, but when I've sat down to look at it, this is what I come up with. This is my view of the motor trade and of Autotrader's findings.